Yo, morning YouTube. It's the man again, Walker's Waves, Walker's Way Train. This morning, I'm coming at y'all with a hair video about, well, waves, of course, right? But it's a question that I've been getting a lot is, Brandon, I'm getting out of school. I've never had waves on my sides. How come my sides aren't waving up? Okay. First thing that we need to understand is that waves are all around, okay? They form from the back, okay? All our waves are gonna come from where our hair starts to grow at, okay? So, the first thing to identify with getting waves on the sides is which wave pattern are we having. Now a lot of people go, I'm doing 360s, I'm doing the beehive, I'm doing the swirl, I'm doing the 720s, I'm doing the 540s. It doesn't really matter. Your pattern is not going to be the same as someone else's. So what I'm saying is that you can't look at another waver's hair and say, that's the kind of pattern that I want, and start brushing your hair the same way as he's brushing his hair. It might not work for you. It might work, but more than likely it's not, because everyone's different, okay? Now, I'm gonna show you an example of this. Man, after I fixed that fork, man, that's nasty, man. Ew, fork. Brandon, a fork, really? Really? Okay, that's good. That's better anyway. Now see, that's one of the things that I wanted to tell you about right there. You see how I had a fork and it went away. You see that? Just like that, it went away. Because sometimes I brush straight, and if I brush my hair straight, you see how the forks will start to come back. You see that? See that? Those are called forks, because I'm brushing my hair straight, not in the direction of my waves. If you pay attention, this is why it's so important to mirror brush, okay? Anybody can brush, okay? When you're in the mirror, constantly concentrating on your flow of your wave pattern, you'll understand that you might be brushing wrong, okay? You can see how on the top pattern, my hair goes slightly to the left, okay? I'm slightly brushing to the left, okay? I'm not brushing straight down. I'm brushing slightly slanted on that. That's the only way to keep the waves up in there and to keep them, wavy like that, okay? It's the same thing on the sides, okay? For some people, like for my weak side, aka right side, okay, my hair goes straight down, okay? You see those ropes? Everything is connected to that crown, okay? And it goes straight down. So you have to pay attention to where your hair flows, okay? Some guys, it goes straight. Some, it may go in another direction. But you have to pay attention, because it'll change from the left to the right, okay? Now on the right side, to get all of my waves to connect, my hair goes straight. So I'm not brushing down as I was on this side. I'm brushing straight. That's where the mirror and having hair that's growing, woofing, becomes so important if you want your waves to connect. So once you have a pretty good foundation about where our hair is going and how it's growing, how do you make your side waves like the top? How do you get them like that? See, I have waves on the sides, waves on the top. Now, how do you get them like that? Well, you have to put in the brush work, okay? Now, if you notice that we have a little bit more frizz on the sides, okay? And that can happen due to sports activity or laying down. We're not really gonna put too much stress on top of our heads while we lay down, because, you know, this is going to be protected. But our sides, you know, left side of the pillow, right side of the pillow, these can kind of fluctuate. So it's really important to stay up on your sides more if we're having problem waving up right there. So I'm going to show you one simple tip that you can do if your sides are lacking. The first thing that I want you to do is the against the grain with the grain tutorial. Okay, against the grain with the grain. Now, what is against the grain with the grain? Now, what I like about against the grain with the grain is that it separates the forks from the scalp. It separates your hair from the scalp, so we have a good idea on where our waves are going to be flowing at and how we can get them to connect to our crown, which is the number one thing. We want our waves to connect to the crown. Okay, if the waves connect to the crown, they're going to connect everywhere. Okay, so we have it right now against the grain. Okay, my hair is out. It's against the grain. Now, instead of combing with the grain, I want you to hard brush. Okay, hard brush with the grain. Okay, and we're just going to find out which ropes start to appear first, and that's how you find your pattern. Okay, whichever ropes appear first, that's the direction that your hair should be going. So if I went straight, my ropes are going away. So that's not the right direction. So coming straight down, I see more ropes forming. And you have to look at it like fishing. You know, when you're fishing, you know, you're not going to throw the sea rod. You're not going to throw it over there where it ain't no real puddles and stuff going on over there. If you see some puddles and stuff going on over there, that's where you're going to throw the rod. Okay, it's the same thing with waving. Okay, same thing. You have to really pay attention. That's why it's so important to be brushing up in the mirror. Okay, it's going to be kind of hard to do this without a mirror. So you got to get up in the mirror. You got to put in a little bit of work, but it'll pay off if you're trying to get everything to connect. If you're trying to catch a fish. Okay, you're going to rope down every time you see a rope or another wave pattern. That's good. That's the direction that we need to go. Okay, every time we don't see anything, then we know we need to change it up or switch it up. Okay, and the sides will connect to the top. Your sides will connect. They might not be your pattern might not be set in, but if the hair is connecting from the crown, trust me, it'll all start to come in. And that's where you wolf in the same pattern, and you keep wolfing in the same pattern, and you keep brushing your hair in the same pattern. And especially when you cut your hair, you make sure to cut it in the same pattern. Now, a lot of people, you know, they tell me, Brandon, I can't get waves on my sides. And then they go to a barbershop and they go get a haircut. Well, you've been brushing your sides like this. I've been brushing my sides like that for about a month or two. Now, if I go to a barbershop and that barber goes against the grain, he cuts against the grain, that's like combing against the grain, like what we did. Y'all saw that when I combed against the grain, I didn't really have that my hair wasn't really wavy. It was more puffy. That's the same thing that happens when you cut your hair against the grain. You're cutting out your waves, period. Okay? Now, you might be able to do that against the grain cut to a 1 or a 2. Yeah, you'll be able to see waves, but not as much as you did when you were woofing or growing your hair out. Okay, so when you cut your hair against the waves, just know that you are cutting off waves against the grain. So when you do them high fade tapers and stuff, you know what I mean? Yeah, it looks nice and stuff, but you're cutting off waves, which means that you're gonna have to start over getting your side waves again. So that's why it's very important to woof, get a length of hair that you really want, and then determine whether or not you want to do a low taper or no taper at all, depending on, you know, I mean, if your side waves are really good, I wouldn't want to cut them, you know what I'm saying, right? Right? All this dang brushing, I mean, just to have this faded on up and like, no, I didn't brush for hours just to go ahead and cut that. So that's something else that you'll need to look into if we're having problems getting waves up on our sides. How are we cutting our sides? Okay, we'll make sure that however you're brushing your hair to get more waves, that's how you cut your hair, period. Don't cut your hair differently. All of a sudden, don't just go and cut your hair straight, down, when you've been brushing, you know, straight, diagonal, all the way around. And your hair has to flow just like that if you want your waves to stay in, okay? That's why it's so important to either do your own hair or find a barber that cares enough about your waves, or explain to your barber what you are doing to your hair and how you want your hair cut. Well, I hope everybody learned something. You know what I'm saying? Make sure to like and subscribe. Make sure if you're not following me on IG, go ahead and follow me now on IG at Walker's Wave. You know, a lot of dang funny stuff be going on there. Be going live sometime, brush sessions. You know, if you're not getting motivated, if you don't really feel like brushing, you know, just join my Instagram. You see me live, you know, we might be doing that brush work. We might be doing that comb work, you know what I mean? You don't feel motivated to get up in the gym, do something, you know, hey, I'll be posting up videos. We got a Saturday strength tips going to be coming up soon. So, you know what I mean? School is about to be coming out. Let's get ready to get in shape. Let's get ready to get waves. Remember, you can do it. Walker knows the way.